Okay, I am ready.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're excited to have you join our webinar on happiness. I hope you are excited as I am. Let me present to you our, let me introduce to Dr. Ahmed Albadry. He's an associate professor of occupational medicine at the University of Medicine, Mansoura University, Egypt, and is currently a consultant of occupational medicine, Royal Commission Hospital in Yambu, Saudi Arabia. He was awarded the highest professional degree in ICSOEM as a fellow of the American College of Occupational Environmental Medicine, FECOEM, when he was elected. Then he was elected as an LCIM International Component Society Vice President. I hand to you, Dr. Ahmed.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ghasana. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone in the occupational medicine and healthcare provider all over the world. My presentation today is hypothesis about productivity and happiness. As we always say, less is more. So we will speak about only 3 hypotheses of the occupational medicine about productivity and happiness. The first one, the first hypothesis, is there a relationship between productivity and happiness? Let's discuss this. Of course, all of us think about that happiness increased, the productivity increased. But do we have any evidence-based research or evidence-based results and numbers? And let's discuss with us. I have 2 research studies speaking about the relationship between productivity and happiness. Let's start with the first one. The first one done by Andrew and Ignacio Porto, University of Warwick, and Daniel Sigorio, and Isa from Germany. They stated that the treated individuals approximately 12% greater productivity. What is this? Treated? Yes. They make experimental happiness and also experimental productivity. Let us see the stages of their experimental happiness. They started the stage 1, initial questionnaire, when the person arrived in the laboratory. Yes, they do experimental happiness in the laboratory. They are all the participants in the study as students, and they asked them, how would you rate your happiness at the moment? Please use this 7-point scale. And then they make what is they told mood induction procedure. The treatment was 10 minutes clip of sketches in which there are jokes told by a well-known comedian as a control. Used either a calm, placebo clip or no clip for the control group. And another experiment provided fruits, chocolates, and bottled drinks. The second stage in the experimental happiness is another questionnaire in the mid of the experiment, asked about the personal happiness immediately after the movie. Now they make the induction of the experimental happiness, and then they start to measure the experimental productivity. They ask the participant to answer correctly as many as different additions of 5 digits number as possible in 10 minutes. And they paid the rate of 25 cents per correct answer. They measure the efforts of this participant. Then they give them a short GMAT style math test. They had 5 questions for 5 minutes to complete, as was paid also 50 cents per correct answer. They measure the ability. And finally, they make the fine happiness questionnaire of the exact same wording and another number of questions about the bad life events that have taken place in the last 5 years in the life of the subject. They do the experimental happiness and experimental productivity. And here the results. There is significant difference between the treated and the untreated, not only in the addition problem solved, but also in the addition problem attempted. This is the significance difference, about 12% between the treated people with the happiness and the untreated people with the happiness. Maybe someone told me, this is experimental. What about the real life? This is the second study. Does employee happiness have an impact on the productivity? This is a study done by University of Rotterdam and the University of Oxford and Massachusetts Institute of Technology and the British Telecom Company. They survey 1,793 workers at the British Telecom in different centers. And in this experimental study or real lifetime study, they use the variation in exposure to the visual weather condition. And this provides a quasi-experimental test, the effect of the happiness on the sales performance of this company. They found the results. And 1 unit increase in the happiness on the standard scale from 0 to 10 give them 3 additional weekly sales. This means that about 12% increase over the base of 25. So they accustomed to sell the 25. In this week, if they are happier, they sell more 3 units. The same, surprisingly, the same percentage of the happiness increase in the real time. But also, if we deep dive in the results of the work behavior, the results found that the employee didn't work any more time. They didn't take fewer breaks. They didn't work for overtime. What they are doing? Here, instead, the study clarified 3 productivity channels behind the effect of the happiness on the sales performance. I name it happiness productivity channels. Let's see these channels. The first channel, the worker better organize their time while happier, doing work more closely to their daily schedule. The second channel, workers work faster when happier. Work leads to have a higher number of the calls per hour. What is the last channel and the most important channel? Workers are more efficient in converting calls into sales when in better mood. They have more ability to solve the complex cognitive task when their social and emotional skills are enhanced. Really, at the end of this hypothesis, we are accustomed to hear about work smart, not work hard. But today, I will give you a new quote. This quote is called, work happily, not only smart nor hard, to have high productivity. This is the first hypothesis. We speak about the relationship between productivity and happiness. What about the second one? Is unhappiness costly? Sure, all of us know that happiness is costly, unhappiness is costly. But how come? How many? How much? Do we have any statistics and results about that? Yes, we have. I searched the world for these 2 Gallup reports. Very interesting reports about the unhappiness cost. And the first report published in 2013 about the work engagement report in USA workers. They do and invent the Gallup Q12 questionnaire. This is contain 12 questions, and they have, guess what? They have 25 million employees answer this question in 195 countries all over the world in 70 languages. And what are the results? Before we see the results, they make a very good classification of the engagement categories among the employees. You can put in yourself and your colleagues also. The first employee category is engaged employee. Work with passion, feel a profound connection to their company, they drive innovations and move organization forward. The second category is not engaged. They are employees essentially checked out. They are sleepwalking through their workday. They putting time, only time, but not energy or passion in their work. I think you know some of your colleagues like that, not engaged. The last one, actively disengaged. Employees are not just happy, or sorry, are not just unhappy at the work. They are busy acting out their unhappiness. Every day, these workers undermine what their engaged co-workers accomplish. Do you know the statistics? Do you know the results? For the engaged people among the USA workforce in 2013, only 30% engaged, and not engaged, 52%. And for the actively disengaged, 18%. This means that 70% of the American workers are not engaged or actively disengaged in 2013. Gallup make the unhappiness costs. They calculate, they estimate the actively disengaged employee cost the US between 450 billions to 550 billions each year in lost productivity. You see the numbers? Let's go to the second report. This is a recent report in 2022. And they do the same study in the global work engagement. And they have a great results. All over the world, they make analysis of 112,000 business units in 96 countries. And they found that USA and Canada, only 33 engaged. In South Asia, 27 engaged. East Asia, 17 engaged. Middle East and North Africa, only 15% engaged. Europe, 14% engaged. The total world, globally, only 21% engaged in their work, and the rest either not engaged or actively disengaged. Also in this report, it is have a very good, it's about 170 pages. I upload in my website and I give you the link to download it because they give a good result about the gender also and about the age. Do you know the unhappiness cost for the world in 2022? From the engaged 21, not engaged 60%, and the actively disengaged 19%. They estimate that low engagement cost the global economy $7.8 trillion. And this accounts for 11% of the GDP globally. Really, at the end of this hypothesis, I wanted to make another quote. But unfortunately, I found that Gallup make the book that's called The Blind Spot, the global rise of unhappiness and how leaders missed it. Because if you compare this result to the road traffic accidents and road injury that cost the world economy 1.8 trillion only, this means that the problem of unhappiness of the worker is more important than anything in the world. Now, I finish the two hypotheses of my three hypotheses. What about the last one? The last one, I ask a question. Does organizational membership enhance productivity and happiness? Like ACOM, like the international component of Society of Occupational and Environmental Medicine? Really, we have a connection. We have conversation. Maybe we have a discounts in the conferences. We have our voice internationally recognized. We have a leadership. And we have also a skill building and learning. I searched also the world. And I found only one paper from the American Journal of Infection Control. They speak about the impact of certified infection control specialists in the acute care setting. And they say that they notice that they have a stronger understanding than other practitioners. And the association between the CIC and the hospital-acquired infection rates was inconsistent in our results. But it is still open-ended question. Do you benefit from joining the international scientific committee or not? And I think the answer of this question need more evidence-based research. I use a lot of resources in my webinar and I upload to my professional website. You can go to my professional website and just click on the kernels. Kernel is the nut seeds of the heart shield of the scientific papers. I put all in there and you will see the post just in the state of the work, the American report. Click on the view full report or view full post and you can download the PDF directly. Thank you very much. And this is also the link of my website. Thank you. Dr. Gassana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. It's a wonderful presentation about happiness. I really enjoyed it. I'll make sure I download all those resources you provide to us. The next speaker will be Dr.Yohama Caraballo-Arias. She's an occupational physician, a lecturer, writer, and researcher at the University of Bologna, Italy. She's presently the president of International Component Society of the American College of Occupational and Environmental Medicine, and a scientific advisor of the Director of Education Programs Oversight Committee, DEPAC. The floor is yours, Dr. Yohama.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jean-Pierre. Can you confirm if you can hear me? Can you hear me okay?
We do.
Yes, we hear.
Perfect.
We hear you. We hear you, our
I'm
boss.
so happy to, great. I'm so happy to connect. And a good thing is that I just learned on this research that weather doesn't have an impact on happiness because I'm freezing here. I'm really freezing. Okay, so we will speak about the formula of happiness. Can we go to the next slide? This formula was created by Seligman, the father of positive psychology. And we live in a world that has changed after COVID. We're not the same. So personal space has been invaded by our work. Now we have our phones, we are hyper connected. If we go to the next slide, we will see the formula. Oh, maybe the next, because probably that's the previous slide, but that's okay. I will tell you the formula and speak a little bit, because there was an updated, but it's okay, it's okay. Let's go back to show some statistics that are very interesting. So those statistics are from ILO, and this is unbelievable that the main cause of death is overworking. So what is overworking? Based on the paper published on Lancet, overworking is working more than 55 hours a week. That's probably the average that most of us, of the panelists, are working right now. Let's go to the next. That shows the same statistics. That says exposure to long working hours. More than 700,000 people have died. So this slide that shows the flexibility is a Cochrane review. It was published a couple of years ago, and it shows how flexibility is creating a big impact on job satisfaction. Especially, this was published before the pandemic. So we have discovered that also the flexibility of working from home, having changed schedules have a great impact also. Let's go to the next, please. These are the biggest stressors. Stress is 70%. But if we see having bullying or harassment, not only sexual harassment, but in general, or overwork, our stressors are at work. But probably you're curious about the formula because I started speaking about the formula. So Seligman, he said that happiness is equal to a set range. So he said that we are born either with a happiness level And then that formula H is equal to this set range, 50%, the voluntary things we do to be happy, and the context. So, for example, if somebody has an accident, a work accident, and they have to amputate a limb, let's say their legs, in 3 years, people will have the same level of happiness than they had before the accident. And when speaking about productivity, this is one of the basic definitions, is the efficiency of production of goods and services expressed by some measure. It is important to recognize that there's not a universal indicator about productivity. Let's say, for example, the Ford model that shows how many cars they produce per minute, for example, or how many patients we see in an hour. So there's not, depending on the job, we have to make an analysis to speak about productivity. And let's say happiness is not the same as work-life balance. I am right now in Milano, in Italy, that is supposed to have the best work-life balance, and this was measured by the hours worked. In general, by law, the hours, the legal amount of hours, in general, the contracts are 36, maximum 48 hours. So, but there's a deep connection between happiness and work-life balance. A worker that is that can do their family activities but work at the same time and comply with these two roles is more likely to be happy. Let's go to the next, please. So how is measured happiness? This is the World Happiness Report. There are 7 parameters that are shown. First, social support, life expectancy, freedom to make life choices. Because even they measure in countries that are not very democratic, and those have a big impact. Generosity, the GDP, that is the gross domestic product per capita, perceptions of corruption. And let's see, they're speaking about perception. And some authors say that perception is reality. So the perception counts very much on individual and collective happiness and positive and negative effects. So this is an initiative by the United Nations. We can see here on the map the countries that's supposed to be the happiest. We will zoom in a few minutes, but Finland has been the happiest. And guess what? They have like 9 months of cold. So this is nothing. I'm here at 2 degrees outside. I'm freezing cold. That shouldn't impact my happiness. I'm freezing, honestly. But in Finland, they have 9 months of freezing cold, and that doesn't impact their happiness. Let's go to the next. Let's zoom in. This is a graphic that shows inequality and happiness. If we go up, the highest number is 8. We see Finland at the very top. Finland has been the happiest country in the last 5 years. And this is a paradox because Finland had the highest suicide rate. So the government started to implement programs for the people, implement policies that create this switch on their community. And if we go, this is the Gini coefficient, is that measure inequalities. So at the very left, there is where countries with less inequality. So there are no huge gaps like we see in Venezuela or we see in India. People that are very poor and people that are super rich that live in palaces and have servants. So when there's more equality, when there's not this huge gap between what people get paid. So very interesting. I think this is an interesting graphic because the countries, for example, that are at the very left, usually are the happier and they have less inequalities. Let's go to the next, please. A global look at the world happiness. Okay, this is interesting. If we go at the very top on the right, we will see again Finland. So there's the wealth per adult, if we see at the bottom, people, the richest countries are the left. So in general, we might think that the most wealthy countries are the richest, but it doesn't work that way. For example, Luxembourg, that has the highest GDP per capita, is not the happiest. Why? Why and why? It's a good reflection. Let's go to the next. Again, we can zoom in. We can. I will show you here that there are some outliers. For example, Hong Kong is an outlier, or Qatar. So we were expecting, or Luxembourg. So we were expecting, why, if they are the richest country of the planet, there's not a happiness perception on their community? So that's why perception is very important. Not necessarily having lots of money is equal to be happy. And that goes to an individual level. Perception, perception, perception. That's why some authors think that perception is reality. So that's the first outlier. Luxembourg. Remember, the country with the highest GDP, but not necessarily the happiest country. Let's go to the next. And we see these outliers mostly. We can go to the next. In South America and Middle East. Those are the examples. Let's go to the next, because in South America, we were expecting that if they have low GDP, they should be very unhappy, but it doesn't go. We will go through from the happiest to the less happy. And the country, we can go to the highest score, is Europe. Unfortunately, Ukraine had a very low levels before the war. Yes, the next. We can see here Europe, that is a mixture. The overall index of happiness is 6.5. The overall of Europe. Let's remember that the highest is 8. And they have such this mixture. It could be happier if it wouldn't be for Ukraine that has a very low levels. But in general, the Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, and Finland are the happiest. The following continent on happiness, who do you think it is? Let's go to the next. Oh, this is a reflection, very important. The country, and this is not by chance, the country that invests the most on mental health, who is? Finland. Nothing by chance. Let's go to the next continent. North America and Central America is the second happier country with 6.3. You see the difference between the North, the US and Canada, and the difference between Mexico, that is Central America, and all the little cities. Unfortunately, one of the places with the lowest score is Haiti, that is next to Dominican Republic. It's a little island, very poor, that have suffered from earthquakes, poverty, many difficult things. Let's go to the next continent. Middle East. Hey, there we go, Dr. Ahmed. See, it has 5.3, and the happiest based on this report is Israel. Unfortunately, the country with the sad score is Afghanistan. Remember the possibility of make free choices. That's very important. So political environment can have a huge impact because the citizens cannot select or make choices. The next continent is East Asia and Oceania. Here is our Our beautiful friend Ade is 5.6. New Zealand and Australia have a very high score, while Thailand and especially India has the lowest score. Let's go to the next continent, Africa. Hey, Dr. Janvier, is 4.5.
Yes.
Africa is such a happy continent and with wonderful people. And we see here something similar to Venezuela. Zimbabwe has the lowest score, and that's mainly because of they have suffered for so many years about hyperinflation. That is a similarity that we see in Venezuela, unfortunately. So economical impact restrict people choices. Let's go to the next. We have here South America, where unfortunately Venezuela has the lowest score. Probably most of you are aware about the anthropogenic disaster that has been creating a social impact and economical. We have had highest levels of inflation, even higher than Zimbabwe. So see how economics really affects. Let's go back to the GDP that we were having speaking that the high GDP were actually happening. Next. I already spoke about the layers that not necessarily the richest countries, like the middle income countries, have the higher score of happiness, or not necessarily being poor is equal to have a low score. Let's go to the next. Most stressful event, we know that the death of a spouse is a huge event, but if we see on the chart, losing their job is one of the top 10 reasons for very stressful situations. Let's go to the next. And this is the end. Happiness is when you think, when you say, and what you do are in harmony. I'm really happy to be here. I was having endorphins when I was hearing Dr. Ahmed and three hypotheses, and honestly working with a good team as we have here with these leaders, it creates a big joy in my heart. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully we can see you inside ACOM. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Yohama. Now let me present you our last and not least presenter. This is Dr.Ade Mutiara. She's an occupational medicine specialist, the lead of occupational health and medicine for Indonesia upstream oil and gas. She spent her career as an occupational health practitioner in a few oil and gas company and other industries. She's now the secretary and the treasurer of the National Component Society for the American College of Occupational Environmental Medicine. Dr. Ade, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Janvier. Let me share my slides. So hello, everyone. I know that there are a few of my friends over here always support me. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Yohama, very interesting presentation. So from all the material that Dr. Yohama and Dr. Ahmed is all actually proof that happiness not always about the GDP, not always about the income, but more on other things. And Dr. Ahmed also showed that definitely happiness will increase the productivity of worker when me, Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Yohama are working as an occupational medicine that you really work on the worker. So now my time is to show you how to hack your happiness at work. There are a lot of research how to make you happy at work. my friend said, work is work. It's a lot of responsibilities, so many deadlines. Sometimes one thing has not been finished and then the other already has come. It's hard to be happy at work. But there's a research from Cynthia D. Fisher that actually it is the article that say that happiness actually important consequences for both individual and organization. This article says that actually the happiness at work is not as far than job satisfaction. Not only about the salary, not only about the money, but the work engagement, the job satisfaction, the contentment of the worker in the office, and also effective organizational commitment, really how the worker feels support from their management, how the worker can really express their ideas. And Dr. Yohama already says so many items that really contribute to the happiness. This article really says that before the company really didn't think about the happiness, but now since the happiness actually is proven that it's important for organization, about the mental health, especially during the pandemic, the mental health is the sunshine that everybody already think about the mental health. Company already more and more put their mental health to make their employees happy. Let's see for another research. Actually, the happiness really related to the gene on everybody. There are so many hormonal, we call it happy hormones, that the biological factors that really contribute to the happiness. In this systematic review articles from Iran shows that actually certain genes can really contribute to the happy hormones, which is dopamine, the serotonin, the norepinephrine, endorphins, and melatonin. This hormone is valid to contribute to the people happiness. Now the question is, what's the activity that can boost the production of these hormones? What activity that can boost our happiness to make these hormones, especially it's really related to the gene. And this research also shows that actually the positive mindset can really correct these happy hormones. It's really interesting that so many psychological journals really research on what biological factors that contribute to somebody's to a person's happiness. And in India, there are also this research that does gratitude ensure workplace happiness among university teachers. So this is to examine the necessity and sufficient of their gratitude for supporting workplace happiness among Indian university teachers. From Dr. Yohama's map, although India shows like in the mid of the happy score, but in this research shows that amongst the 726 university staff in India, in this research is also include the mediation. We know that most majority of India under the Buddha and Hindu, they pray with the meditation and then more on accepting what they have and more on the gratitude of what they have. Actually, in this research confirmed that the significant mediation effect of psychological and social capital amid the relationship of the gratitude and workplace happiness. And I think it's also related. The gratitude also part of being positive and being positive and embrace what's on our plate. So this feeling of gratitude is confirmed with this research that it really has a positive relationship to the workplace happiness. And another articles that also research on happiness at work, that self-care at work really matters, that how job and personal resources mediate between self-care and psychological well-being. There are also so many research that physical activity, physical fitness really related to somebody agility to face so many challenges at workplace. So this research are on 294 workers recruited from 20 organizations from different socioeconomic sectors in Spain. And these results show that mindfulness is positively related to well-being through the mediating role of work resources and personal resources. And now what interests me, what is self-care? Again, during this pandemic, self-care has become more and more aware of the self-care. And then an international self-care fund self-care, the global support for international self-care, is supposed to be ISC. In 2018, they have promoting 7 pillars of self-care. With this manifestation or implementation of 7 pillars of the self-care, definitely it will improve the job satisfaction, the teamwork, and also workplace environment. What is those 7 pillars? The first, for sure, that knowledge and health literacy. We actually this 1 hour webinar, we are showering us with the health literacy, with the knowledge to have more understanding of our body, of our gratitude, of our happiness. And the first one and the second one is about mental being, mental well-being. Dr. Yohama said more and more now in certain countries has a high number of suicide, and it's really related to mental well-being. So, and in North America and Europe countries, the number of, also Japan and Korea, the number of suicide is getting higher and higher. And the third and the fourth is all about the being a good physical activity with exercise, more on walking, more on make yourself fit through the physical activity. And the fourth one, for sure, the healthy eating. These two things definitely will really improve your physical fitness. That can really relate it to the good productivity and happiness at your workplace. And the fifth one is avoiding the risk of the smoking, the risk of the being drive drunk and everything, and also reduction of the safety issues, and it also will make you feel safer. And the good hygiene during the pandemic, more and more people understand about the hygiene is for preventing the infection and other issues. And the last one about rational use of product and service. Let's say in Indonesia, there are a lot of product that is released without the approval from the government. Let's say, in picking and taking the medication that really with the use of the good product, let's say like the organic, or less fat, or less fried. We fried a lot of food in Indonesia. It will also part of your contribution to show your self-care. And the value of intentional self-care practices, it really shows that actually it will improve your happiness at work. So I think I really believe in this self-care, because my experience really show when when I did my exercise regularly, it will give me more better mood rather than if I don't do anything. So I really agree with this stuff. Seven pillar of self-care can really boost your happiness at work. I think that's all from me. As a secretary, for sure, I have to promote this this ICSOM. So ICSOM, International Component Society for American Occupational Medicine and Environment. If you are a participant of this webinar, you are invited to join the American College of Occupational and Environment Medicine. It's not only for the physician, but also for the ones who really interested as healthcare professional, and also for the ones who are really interested in occupational medicine and also occupational environment. Just open the website of the ACOM.org, and then you will find this page and put the login. And for sure, after you join the ACOM, and then you can go to the component societies. There are a lot of more than 20 components in ACOM, and only one international component society of OEM. You can go there. You can go there and join our component, and then the fees for each countries are different. So the due for ACOM membership, it is based on which country that you come from. If you're from North America and from America, your physician member is 610, and associate member is a non-physician. Associate member is not for non-physician membership. And for my friends from Indonesia, we are in lower middle income, so you only pay for 305 US dollar, and for non-physician, your membership is only $200. So you can go to this country that category as defined by the World Bank. You can go there where your country is belong to, and then it will go to this membership. For the component itself, for the ICSOM, there's an additional $45 US to join the ICSOM. And as Dr. Ahmed also mentioned, that with this component, you will get not only from ICSOM, but also from other international group, and also ACOM itself. You can have huge number of research in occupational medicine, and by increasing the knowledge of the health literacy, definitely it's part of your self-care. So that's all from me. So you can send me the email, or you can access my open Instagram. I love to put myself in Instagram, and also in the Facebook. Just join us. So see you later. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Ade. Now it's time for questions and answers. I have two in the chat, and the first one was about what's the difference between work performance and productivity? Is there a validity method, a specific questionnaire to assess productivity? Who would like to answer the question?
Okay. This is
Dr.
a very
Yohama
difficult
still there.
I know, yes, I know Dr. Afaf, and I think this is a very sophisticated question, because till now I didn't see any specific questionnaire about the productivity, and because you can mention it in the white collar or blue collar workers, it's among employee, among the managers, So the productivity is very wide range of to be assessed. But I think that WHO have some statistics and some project in this era of the productivity, and they develop something like that. I will search and study, and God willing, I will share on my website, and you can follow if we have any advances in this one. Thank you, Dr. Afaf, and thank you, Dr. Jennifer, Professor Jennifer.
And Dr. Anurag is asking about the definition of happiness to you, Dr. Ahmed. It was the definition of happiness considered by the researchers.
Yes, like you say, this is a subjective happiness. They ask the general question, are you happy or not? But in the Gallup questionnaire, in the Gallup Q12, is very specific for everyone and very objective one. But of course, they keep the secrets for them. They didn't make it general or they make it public. I think we can ask them about this. And if they share they shared the question only, but they didn't share the methodology of ranking or how to classify the engaged, not engaged, and the actively disengaged. So in the first study and second study, it is subjective only happiness. Are you happy or not? In the third Gallup report and in the Gallup questionnaire Q12, they are very objective one, but they didn't share till now in the public. Maybe I can buy the book for this, the blind spot, and told you.
Okay, the next question in the chat room is, can you please repeat the formula of happiness again?
I think this is a question for Yohama, because she is the one speaking about the formula of happiness.
Okay. Dr. Yohama.
You are muted, Mohana. You are muted.
Unmute yourself, Dr.
Okay.
Yohama. Oh, thank you.
Yes, sorry about that. Yes, is 8 equal to a set range? So R plus a context plus voluntary acts. So the set range is, like Dr. Ade mentioned, is the genetics, how we are configured. We're born, he said, we are born either as like a happiness perception of an overall or unhappy. So it has to do with neurotransmitters. And so that's like 50%. 50% of our happiness is based on our genetics. So now we know about epigenetics, and we know that epigenetics is complex because not necessarily our genes makes our destiny. So the context, other percentage is based by the context and by the voluntary acts. For example, getting married is a voluntary decision that can have a huge impact on our happiness, or the job that we do. I don't know if Dr. Ade would like to complement.
Yes, Dr. Yohama agree that in that research also show, I repeat what Yohama have said, that the gene is only 30 until 50% that contribute to our happiness. The rest is our about positive mindset, is about physical fitness, and all along the way on your life will contribute on your happiness. But the genes in that research also show that actually only 30 and 50% of your happiness, but it's there.
Thank you, Dr. Ade. Moose is asking about sharing the material with them. Yes, the material will be available.
That's right.
As Dr. Ahmed said.
We can say no problem.
And then we have another question from Dr. Anurag. He said, in the PERMA model, even engagement is good for well-being. Would you agree? Not just the amount of work, but the nature and the quality of work also matters. Hence, job design matters.
This is a question for Yohama, I think. Burma model.
Yes. Yeah, it was a PERMA model, yeah.
Yes, if I understood, the question is the content of the job. That's the question, impact people's happiness. If that was the question, absolutely. If our purpose, life purpose, when our life purpose is aligned with the job that we do, we have higher chances of being happy. And that was the last quote from Dalai Lama, sorry, for Mahatma Gandhi, that he mentioned that when we are in harmony, what we want, what we do, and what we think. So yes, of course, the content of our job, not only quantitative, but qualitative, that has a huge impact on our how we feel. Yes, thank you for the question.
Thank you. The next question is from Ahmed Albadry. She's, asking about sharing, having access to presentations, but also the emails of the presenters to ask permission to use some of the material presented. I don't think that would be a problem.
Yes.
No, not a problem. Yes, everything is public. You can, part of my content is public. So yes, of course, it will be delightful if what we are sharing is useful for all. Yes, of course.
Okay, already I share on the chat the link for our WhatsApp group. It will be an open group for all the people interested in our webinars, not only the ACOM paid membership. And they already, I think that about there is 80 or something like that, join the group, and we will share with them the presentation and share with them our contact internationally, no problem at all. And I like that Yohama experienced the happiness in the streets. She is the only one have the practical application of the happiness in the weekend.
A friend of mine said, maybe you look like in the vlog, Yohama. Not look like as a webinar, so it's part of happiness. You're like in the vlog, in the vlog.
She is the happiest one.
Yeah, the next question.
Yes,
from Dr. Faf.
Go ahead.
Anyone knows how to score an NIOSH generic job stress questionnaire, GJSQ, for individual person, in order to have an appropriate tool for evaluation and analysis of job stress? Or anybody have other validated tool to assess the job stress for individual and he knows how to score it?
Maybe I can answer that question.
Yeah, okay. Go.
So WHO actually released the self-reporting questionnaire SRQ 20. It's really general for screening, mental health screening. Maybe you can put it even in your annual medical checkup, because it can divide the source, also on whether you're in anxiety or depression at work. You put that questionnaire as a valid questionnaire released by WHO. Even they already renew it with the SRQ 29, but it's more on the drug and alcohol issue that contribute to the mental health issues. Maybe that can help. Maybe Dr. Ahmed, you can have your own experience.
I have experience before with the burnout, not the whole stress, the burnout, with Maslach burnout inventory. I have scores about it, and also they have another one, the work-life balance is questionnaire, and this is also very good. And I think they publish on their website. You can buy it by the website. But I think you can share with us also, Ade, for the WHO. It will be great benefit. You can share after that on the WhatsApp group.
Yes, and there's also, I would like to complement the Karasek and Farrell model about stress and job stress and the demand. And there is that Sigris model also that speak about these stress models. Those are like the most famous, or are the basic for many questionnaires. There's the Copenhagen questionnaire that has been widely used also for psychosocial factors.
Okay, very good. We
Thank
will
you,
benefit-
Dr. Yohama.
Yes, from our.
Sorry, Dr. Ahmed. Go ahead.
I think that we will start to benefit from our component now to share the knowledge with everyone. So we'll be happy also.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. The next question and the last, because we going over the time allocated to this webinar, is on occupational health doctor. How we may give advice for our employee who raise an issue where the place they work is actually the toxic working environment that's already impacted not only his work performance, but also his physical health. That's a tough one.
That's a really tough
Yes.
questions.
Yeah.
Dr. Ahmed, you're in the hospital. You know this better.
Yes, I
would like.
Okay, go, Yohama.
No, first,
Dr. Yohama.
few words. It's a tough question. Yes. Usually, when we speak with employers, we have to speak with numbers. How that could impact productivity and how can that impact economically. Usually, that's a magic formula. If we show them numbers to managers, for example, this is creating medical sick leave, people are being absent from work, then and we show statistics, we can convince them about the possibility of a better change. So that's my 2 cents. Please, Dr. Ahmed, continue.
Yes, I think this is a question also you will speak about the employer point of view, but from the employee point of view, I told the employee, this job is not suitable for you. This job is not fit for you. You are not the one fit for this job. You must quit before you lose your physical health and you lose your family and lose everything in your life. So the relocation or beginning a new start in your life and a new journey in the employment, it is not the end of the world. I think it will be help because it's something like counseling with him about that. Please take another place, take another journey, start another new journey, successful journey for your health and for your family.
If I can add to what you just said, Dr. Ahmed, I was listening to a young motivational speaker from, he's a Cuban American in Miami. He said, if you don't like your job, please try to force yourself to like it while you're preparing to leave. Because if you get depressed in that job, you won't have energy to move out that job. So you try to, you fake it, make it, but getting ready to jump to the next job, you would like to feel you'll be happy in our job. So, yeah.
That's a good quote, Dr. Anvier.
Yes, you know, I was really quite impressed by the advice he was advising young people. The last question, actually, is
there's
there
two raised hand on from the, maybe we can allow them to talk. There's 2 raised hand on the attendance.
Oh.
Morteza and I saw
only one
Dr.
last
Charles
question.
Onikbogi. Yeah, okay, you can go with that question first.
He's asking about how can you evaluate mental health in pre-employment examination? That's a tough one also.
I think that we already answered that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Already answered this question. So anyone raise hand, you can join.
Dr. Charles, are you in Africa or in the United States? I saw you.
I don't see the oh yeah, see Charles, Dr. Charles.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Dr. Charles. How are you?
Well,
Oh, welcome,
Yeah,
Charles.
I'm in Africa, I'm in Nigeria.
Is there anyone?
Can you hear me?
Did you raise your hand? I saw that you raised your hand.
I don't have anybody else who raises a hand.
I just called to wish everybody well and say what a good webinar it was.
Thank you very much, Dr. Charles.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to everybody. Yohama, Ahmed, Janvia, Ade. It's great to be part of this component society. Well done, and keep this good job up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dr. Ahmed, would like to have the closing remarks.
Okay, so we now closing the
You have
year in
3 minutes.
remarks. So we are preparing for the strategic plan for 2023 that we will have in every country, all over the countries, all over the world, the country leader. So starting next month, maybe January, we will start to choose a component leader in every country to share with us the information and the webinars that we can do in everyone. Also, we have this WhatsApp group. We will have a lot of webinars. And I think that we have a big move that we decrease the annual membership fees for the low socioeconomic and the low middle and something like that. Also, we are helping that we will have access for the guidelines, the international guidelines. Already, if you have ACOM membership, you will have an introduction and you have subscription for the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. So we have a lot to share next year, God willing, and we are in hurry to make this webinar in the last of year to say to you good year, and I think a good new year for 2023, God willing, 2023. So Yohama, you wanted to add? You are the boss, Yohama. You must and close everything. You are unmuted.
Thank you so much for joining. It has been a pleasure for us having you here. I hope you can join ACOM. I hope you can all join our component. That we will guarantee endorphins for you. It's been a pleasure sharing this last webinar of the year. We wish you great success, happiness, joy, peace, and prosperity, and a high GDP for your countries. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Dr.
Good night
Yohama.
from Indonesia.
Yes, so now let's close this webinar, but we're looking forward to next webinars next year.
God willing.
Okay.
Thank you very much for attending.
Peace upon you.
We'll
Assalamu
see you
alaikum.
next year.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. I will end this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone.
Merry Christmas, Yohama.
Thank you.